Welcome to a casted game of Age of Mythology Retold. We are currently watching rank number 1 on the ladder. We've got Recon. He is playing as the Atlanteans, and it's going to be Gaia today. And he has been holding rank 1. He's already been seeded, I think, position 3 or 4 for a Red Bull Wolo tournament. There's people throwing some shade saying, you know, Recon, he just got automatically seeded through to the event. Well, he's holding rank 1 on the ladder, so I would say it's probably pretty well deserved. And Recon today is going to be playing up against Miniyeti. Now, I was just checking out the rank of these guys on AOM.gg, where I've built a leaderboard as well as match profiles. So if you want to see your game history, including team deathmatch, all that stuff, check it out over on AOM.gg. I've got a link down in the description. And Miniyeti is in the top 50, so certainly going to be the underdog here in this matchup. And I typically like to root for the underdog, but we're unbiased caster, right? We'll be rooting for both. Miniyeti is going to be playing as Poseidon here today. So we've got Greeks versus Atlanteans, and the map we are looking at, this is going to be Giza. So of course there's pyramids out here in the middle. Oh, right on it, zoomed right in on that bad boy. And we'll see how this works out. Now, Gaia, of course, is kind of like the mother nature here in Age of Mythology. There she is. Very much I Am Groot inspired. It has been. But we saw the god power right out of the way, went for the Gaia Forest. And the reason why you're seeing that, it selects a location to grow a Gaia forest, but the villagers are going to gather faster from the Gaia tree. So for that reason, that's why he used it immediately, because he doesn't have to take this villager and walk all the way out here, stays close to the base, builds kind of a, kind of defensive structure around it as well, but going to be gathering wood as fast as possible. So that's why you see him there on that, and we do see that temple being dropped down, and we'll see that casted throughout this game multiple times. Atlanteans were the OG civs that were able to recast god powers. Of course, in AOM Retold, you're able to pay favor to cast them again, but you can see that you can actually get a second Gaia forest for free is how that's going to work. Oracle's out here scouting. Meanwhile, with Poseidon going up with the temple, we've got a storehouse. We've got the lure god power, which will spawn some chickens and attract some nearby Mother Nature. So we see both players getting ready to age up. We'll be checking out what minor gods they decide to choose. I've been liking a good mixtures and seeing a lot of different minor gods being chosen across players, and I hope you guys are having a lot of fun with it. I think it goes to show that, like, at launch day, the balance is pretty close. I mean, you never expect an RTS to be just perfectly balanced at launch. It's just not going to happen. But like, for how asymmetric these civs are, I've been really impressed with, like, it just feels like there's a lot of viability with a lot of options with the different gods and minor gods. Now that all changes, the meta is discovered and all of that, but having a lot of fun here on launch day. There's no like Springgold wars like we had in Age of Empires 4. Now we see that Recon is going to be aging up with Oceanus, even though we're not on a water map, but that will give the Titan of Water a focus on infantry, and that will give access to the Caladria god power. Meanwhile, for Miniyeti, we're going to see Hermes, which will have a focus on Cav. So maybe we'll see a stable opening going for some kind of raiding here. Of course, Atlanteans have more buffed up villagers, right? They have less villagers, but they are more population. The citizens, they don't need to drop off, and you can heroize them, which is a whole mechanic with the Atlanteans to convert whether it's a military unit, economic unit, and buff them up, becoming a hero. We do see an additional Gaia forest being dropped down. In the second he hit the second age, we have a counter barracks and a military barracks. So it really feels like this is a build order that Recon's been working on. He didn't waste any time at all here with this. And the Atlanteans, they have a very, I would say, unique or weird unit roster. So all of their units are pretty much they're counter infantry. So this is a Murmillo. It's good in melee combat. This is probably the most, quote, mainline unit that they have. But when you look at like the counter barracks, you're looking at things like the Terma that's like only good at countering other archers. You've got the Catapultes, which are only good at countering Cav, and a lot of mechanics like that. So they can be a little bit difficult. We see one that's being trained up right now. Can be a little bit difficult sometimes to manage if you're not super familiar with all the counters in the game. So for that reason, I don't think it's an amazing beginner civ, even though the citizens not needing drop-off points might lead you to think that it is a bit, but what's it really matter? In the beginning time, you can have a lot of fun. Now, this Caladria can slow down units. So we're actually seeing that right now, using the Caladria to slow down that Centaur. And this raid now has become a problem. He thought he was going to get a quick hit off, but luckily the Caladria either stopped or, he's got a second one there. He's trying to take him out because that'll be a nice pickup there on that myth unit. We do see some scouting over on the northeast side. He sees the villagers out here by the manor, but they can garrison inside of that. And yeah, in fact, he went to the Hermes, and he is double producing from stables. We see those Hippius coming out. They cost a lot of gold, so you want to make sure you've got your gold macro down if you're going to be doing this with the Greeks. And he's going to be going for some raiding. But raiding when he's up against Catapeltes, not going to feel so good. He can use mobility, but can't really take a direct fight. So we're going to see him coming here for a raid. Let's see if he's able to pick up any of these citizens. I'm sure that Recon's going to pull those in garrison as soon as he sees this. Now, I'm going to assume Recon scouted and saw his opponent going double stable, and that's why he's leaned into the Catapeltes so early on here. And look at this, he's actually able to immediately escape some of those citizens. You see that lush growing, by the way. That's a unique thing for Gaia. They get lush, which is a cool thing. We get what's going on? What's going on? Let's just hope this is one of those artifacts. Yeah, it just randomly freezes. Playbacks are they've got some improvements to be made, let's say that. So lush will spread and causes units in buildings to regenerate. So that's what lush is with Gaia. Definitely needed here on a desert map here in Giza. So Recon's responding really well. He's able to defend against that raid, keep his villagers safe. He did pull them back though, so he's staying under his base now, actually using the goats, using those chicken. And that's something to consider. In Age of Mythology Retold, you can really stay under your TC for a decent amount of time. And Age of Empires 4, you run out of food pretty quickly and have to move out. You can stay under here. You got chickens, you've got your goats you find, you got your berry bushes, you got your initial hunt. So there's a lot of options that if you are under a lot of pressure, you don't have to force holding a position out on the map just to hunt. Of course, it's nice to have, but it's definitely an option to just stay under your base and stay safe. Now, Miniyeti is going full in aggro. Look at this. We got 2 stables. He's now adding double archer range. So he's going to be looking to build some counters. The archers are going to be the counters out here for all of this infantry that you see running around. But doing a good job, not taking direct engagements, just using his mobility, giving Recon a little bit of a runaround, keeping him distracted. He did force a little idle time from villagers. This isn't going to be able to get a whole lot of value. Those Catapeltes are very good, by the way, at finding his hip use, as you'll see. He does idle just a little bit there, but not going to do a whole lot. So when the villagers get hit in Age of Mythology, they run around. So doing stuff like this can just draw a little bit of idle time. Look how Recon's built his base, by the way. Very defensive. He's blocked off the back with his market, his manor, and the temple. A good way to build your base. Highly recommend this. I'm definitely bad about doing it, especially if you're coming from AoE 4 where you can just build wherever. You gotta build wall people out with your buildings. Able to garrison inside that sentry tower. I thought maybe he might even try to take it down, but he is going to just run past. And now we see some Toxotes running around. Trying to chase those. Do they have the same speed? Let's see, 4.5 versus 4. So the Catapeltes actually will be faster. So we do see some archers now chasing down Recon's infantry, but Recon's now just going to do the same thing. He's going to run around. He's not going to take a direct engagement. So we kind of have the cav running away from the anti-cav. We got the infantry running away from the archers. It's a little bit of a run around Benny Hill type of situation right now. We'll give it a little bit of a zoom out there. Folks, I hope you're enjoying Age of Mythology Retold so far. If you've been watching some of my cast of games, make sure you subscribe to the channel. I'm uploading casts from the literally top players out there. Where this is a rank 1 game. We've got some builder guides on the way and a lot of helpful tools. So that's how you can support the channel. If you enjoyed my videos, hit that subscribe and leave me some comments. I greatly appreciate it. Recon. Looks like he's going to be picking up pickaxe, getting some of those economic upgrades. And we do see some Termas being trained out. Now, this is what I talked about earlier. These Termas, they are counter archers, so counters against range. So that's very specifically what they're good against. And we did see, by the way, the Carnivora right in the middle of the map. Kind of an interesting spot for it, but he's kind of trying to take some map control. And we've got our first big engagement in the game, trying to get the Catapeltes on the Hippius, the Terma migrating on the archers. As you see, they're very effective at doing that. And for the Recon, this was a super favorable fight. Miniyeti calls out ceasefire, but I almost wonder if it was too late. He lost a lot of units there. Look at the army count, 46 26 versus 22. Recon now has a definite military advantage. And what are we seeing here right now? Behind this, Recon is aging up. This is not looking good for Miniyeti. Recon's going up with Thea, the Titaness of Sight, focus on cavalry, and will give access to the Dryad and the Stymphalian bird. So we'll see that coming out there. Speaking of birds, we just had Ceasefire in, and it does look like Miniyeti is going to be following suit. We'll be aging up as well with Aphrodite, which will be giving access to that Nemean lion. Okay, let's see what's going on back here. We got our 2 archery ranges, 2 stables. A lot of villagers on wood and gold, using up those goats, which will run out over time. Next food is probably kind of, maybe that was the idea here, is to kind of cover the deer or the zebra a little bit with the carnivora, gets a little bit of a map presence. We have some rhinos available off to the side, but there you have it. We see Recon hitting the heroic age. There's that bird. The bird, there he is. I don't know if there's a hotkey to like follow and track like a unit. There is an AoE4, but there he is. This guy is pretty cool. Can only be attacked by range units, of course. One thing to consider, though, Greek heroes in Retold all have a ranged attack against air, so they can take out these flying units pretty easily. But we do see Miniyeti has aged up, but the army count, which is what makes me nervous. I kind of feel like Recon's probably going to push a little bit. Now, he's doing a little bit of raid here in the back line, but look, we have a heroized Catapeltes. Not going to be a good fight for the Hippies. I like his house wall kind of defend his wood villagers here. And it's looking like Recon likely going to push, but oftentimes with pro players, when they start to get advantage, they'll back off just a little bit and just push their eco and their military advantage even further, just to make sure they take an absolute decisive victory. Definitely something I lack the patience for a lot of times in my games. I get to head, I'm like, okay, let's go to town center, let's end this, and then it's like, oh crap, I should have just waited, I should have aged up, I should have got upgrades. So you gotta have a little bit of patience in RTSs to really know when is the right time to finish the game. And that's sometimes the hardest time. The hardest thing to figure out when you're new at a RTS is how do you end the game, and figuring all that out and mastering it. Okay, we do see Recon going in with raid, going to be picking off several villagers. Villager count, by the way, not looking so good for Miniyeti. He is 38 to the 52 civilian population of Recon. Picking off a villager there on the wood line, forcing some gold villagers to be idled. He does have gold still left in his base, though, so he's okay with that. The birds going for a little scout, maybe seeing if there's something down in the corner, see if there's villagers off to the side. Always something you want to do. Let's see what his line of sight is. Yeah, he's just kind of checking around to see, are there villagers off to the side? Are they on the rhinos? Checking out, see if there's anything available. And we do look at this. We can see he's building a fortress in the middle, and Recon sees this. He's going to the carnivore is actually able to hit it, which is kind of crazy. But he's taking that middle map control, which will give him access to the zebra in gold mine as well if he wants to. But he's kind of decided like this is going to be a spot to defend. Here we go. He uses, I think it's called Curse, to turn his opponent into pigs. There we are. They're swine. There's an Nemean lion. Hit him with a stun. The Hippipists are going to be the counter infantry, so they'll be very good against these Catapeltes, very good against these Murmillo. We got a fair amount of Toxitates, so a good positioning for Miniyeti. Gets some map control, gets a few hits there on the military units, doesn't really lose anything in his base, and now is chasing back a little bit. Could even perhaps take out that manor. I think he's going to pull back. Now, Recon has used the Hesperides tree, and it is going to be able to train dryads, which are these guys. And there's a dryad. Groot himself. What's the tool to that thing? Trained at good against human soldiers. Yeah, that's like all the myth units say. Okay, so with Nemean Lion there. Very cool myth unit, by the way. That roar stuns the opponent. We also see, by the way, in the middle there, I'm going to say it wrong, but it's Hippolyta. We'll get it right eventually. We're learning that. I got to say, Age of Mythology is one of the harder games to try to cast the names. There's so many difficult ones within the Greek vernacular, and yeah, just figuring it all out as we go. But I always appreciate your ever so kind, polite corrections as I want to perfect it. I'm trying to get them all down. Okay, we got Rhino going down over there on the north side. Citizens on that could be working on getting some food. Looking at text coming in, we've got plow for Gaia, so going to be plowing the fields, going for a little bit of a farm transition. Farms are very expensive, by the way, if you're playing as the Atlanteans. Oh, I can't hover over it to show you. LOL. It costs a lot more wood. I think it's like 100 wood almost, or something around that. Man, I can't believe I can't hover to show you that. Kind of an issue with the UI, the caster UI. Though we have one, could use lots of improvements, but it's launch week. We've got something we can observe, so we'll take what we get. I feel like a big battle is brewing here in the middle. We've got Recon squaring off with his Atlantean army. We've got a lot of those dryads ready to go. We see the Greeks getting ready with, there we go, Atlanta at the lead. I think the positioning might not be great, though. I don't think he wants to be caught in some kind of pincer with reinforcements. Trying to stop that town center, though. Let's see if he can knock it down. Okay, he's able to pick off a heroized citizen. Stuns, and is able to get a second one. He's going to be taking down that settlement. So going to stop this expansion. This is going to be a nice pickup for Miniyeti. He's going to stop the expansion. Meanwhile, getting his own expansion on the southeast side. Now, I think Recon does have a vision on this. If we look... yeah, he can see that's going up, assuming that he has scanned the map. But meanwhile, it's whatever. Recon has skipped on up to the Mythic Age. And now we see that Argus coming out. Look at all those eyes of the Argus. Oh boy, he went right for it. Implode coming in hot. So going for that main town center, going for the main base. Luckily, not a whole lot of farms or villagers up for grabs here. And I would say largely... not the most impactful implode I've seen. Definitely had good timing on it. If he had a bunch of farms set up, would have been really big. But the town center survives. The town center survives. We've got a bunch of buildings low in HP. Yes, he lost, what, some houses and some towers, and that stinks and all. But not only that, when you're Poseidon, you get militia from that. So, in a way... he just buffed up Miniyeti's army. Look at this. He's got 28 militia now, stronger than ever, and now he can push. Didn't lose his main town center, didn't lose any farms or anything like that because his units are in the middle of the map. So this is go time for Miniyeti. He's definitely down score-wise, down in age, needs to make something happen here. But I'm not sure what's going to be. He does have his second town center. He is taking advantage of those rhinos down in the southeast side. And he's just pushing in. He's going for it. I don't know if he's going to be able to do enough value. Just kind of, it looks like he's just kind of pushing in here with no real plan. This is the way I like to push bases a whole lot. We'll see what happens though. Sitting on top of the military production. Here comes that Argus. And that Argus is going to be doing a lot of damage. 2 Argus, in fact. And look at that. The area of effect damage he's done on those. Oh my gosh. Basically destroyed them. Nemean Lion able to get down a stun. And now we've got, let's kind of rotate the camera just a little bit, see what's going on there. So we got militia on the front line, we got the Toxidays on the back line shooting, but he's taking town center fire, he's taking fire for those Stymphalian birds. This is not going to be a fight that Miniyeti is going to be able to sustain. Gets another great stun out there with the lion, but it does look like the Atlantean army is going to sustain. And with that, he just took a lot of building damage. His base is on fire. Now, the fire is all a visual effect and retold. In Age of Mythology 4, or AoE 4, it actually burns down to the ground, but these will just burn forever. That's just how they look. But you can see that Recon, he's in the Mythic Age. He's got his upgrades coming in. His army just wiped out that fight. Those 3 birds, by the way, doing pretty good there. He wasn't able to take those out, and now he's going to be starting to focus that forward base. The fortress is going to be in trouble. Man, so Recon just kind of taking his time, getting up to the Mythic Age. Well, not really taking too much time to get to the Mythic Age, but just kind of rushing that down and taking a decisive fight. I don't know if Miniyeti needed to just kind of wait. He was a town center head, but with that, Recon is going to be taking the victory, and you guys are seeing why he is ranked #1 on the ladder. Folks, I hope you enjoyed this casted game of Age of Mythology Retold. If you did, consider subscribing to the channel, leave me a thumbs up and a comment. It helps me out with all my content. And as always, consider heading on over to aom.gg. Check out your stats, check out some of these games. And you can also upload and download your favorite recorded games. So something that you can definitely consider doing in the meantime. With that, thanks for watching, and I'll see you in the next one.